130 schools said no. They didn't just pass, they dismissed, ignored, looked the other way. And yet this young man would go on to lead the program in college football history with the most losses to its first national championship. He was a two-star recruit, turned down for a walk-on spot at his own hometown school. 17 years old, sitting on his bed, crying, staring at an empty inbox that refused to blink. That summer, he and his father crisscrossed the country. 18 football camps, countless handshakes, introductions to coaches who barely looked up, highlight reels sent to more than 100 programs. Not one FBS scholarship offer came back. A school 20 minutes from his house didn't want him. Another just down the road passed without comment. His only option was an Ivy League school. No scholarship, no clear path to the NFL. A fine education, everyone said. Be grateful. You're a two-star recruit. Know your place. The league isn't realistic. Nobody comes out of the Ivy League. But here's what he understood that others missed. The worst outcome wasn't failure. The worst outcome was never being allowed to try. So he waited. Then, 2 weeks before signing day, the phone rang. An offensive coordinator on the West Coast had heard about a tall, skinny kid in Miami with a live arm. They needed depth, a body. He flew across the country, toured the campus, got the offer, on the spot. One school, one offer, out of 134. He took it. But the story didn't improve right away. He arrived as the third-string quarterback, spent a full season mimicking opponents on the scout team, never saw the field. The next year, injuries forced him in, against ranked teams. 4 starts, 4 losses. Critics said the late offer had been a mistake, that he should have taken the Ivy League deal. His offensive line collapsed around him. He was sacked 41 times in 2 seasons, one of the highest totals in the nation. Still, he got up, again, and again, and again. He threw for over 3,000 yards, matched a school record once held by a future Hall of Famer, made the academic honor roll while absorbing hit after hit. Then came another crossroads. The coaching staff wouldn't commit to building a program around him. A transfer was brought in. The system wasn't built to develop him further, so he did the unthinkable. He left the only school that had believed in him. He transferred to a program famous not for wins, but for losses. Over 700 of them. Only 3 bowl victories in more than a century. A basketball school where football barely registered. People thought he'd lost his mind. You just ended your NFL dreams. That place is a graveyard. But the new coach told him one thing. I'm going to turn you into the best version of yourself. That was enough. And football wasn't the only reason he kept going. His mother had been fighting multiple sclerosis for nearly 2 decades. She hid it when her sons were young, didn't want them worried. Now she watched from a wheelchair when she could travel at all. Before every snap, he thought of her resilience, her optimism. He began raising money for MS research. Signature menu items appeared in college towns. Hundreds of thousands of dollars raised. Quietly, relentlessly. Then came the season no one believed possible. 16 games, 16 wins, 6 victories over top 10 teams. A conference title not seen since the Truman administration. He led the nation in passing touchdowns, won the Heisman Trophy in a landslide. the first player from that program ever to do so, one of only a handful of Latinos in history, the first Cuban American. On the biggest stage, he honored his grandparents in Spanish, thanking them for sacrifice and faith in the American dream. But even then, the story wasn't finished. In Miami Gardens, just miles from where he grew up, where 3 local schools had rejected him, the championship was on the line, against one of those schools. 4th and 4. 9 minutes left. A slim lead and a risky call. Quarterback draw. He was hit at the line, spun away from one defender, then another. Dove. Touchdown. The kid 134 schools rejected sealed the title with his own legs. The program in college football history with the most losses stood alone at the top. 16-0. A perfect season unseen for more than a century. All because a teenager crying in his bedroom refused to believe that being overlooked meant being finished. He proved that rankings don't decide ceilings, that gatekeepers don't write endings, that no is not a verdict, it's a beginning. And now, after all of that, today, Fernando Mendoza announced for the NFL draft, where he is expected to be the #1 pick. And now, you know, the rest of the story.